Well, hello everybody, and good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Terra Third Thursdays. We'll be having our webinar begin very soon, but as always, we do like to wait a couple of minutes just to let those that are having either some technical issues logging into the system, because I know that can be a headache sometimes, or just maybe finishing up their previous meeting that ended at 2 o'clock or ended at 3 o'clock Eastern. So we'll get things kicked off at actually 3:02 Eastern time, so 2 minutes from now. So just hold tight. So I do see some additional people have joined us since we started the meeting. Your system, hopefully you can hear us, is working well, but just so you know, we do wait a couple of minutes to let some last minute stragglers who are having either technical issues or just having issues getting logged in on time the opportunity to join us without missing a beat. So we appreciate you being on time, but please bear with us for your fellow colleagues in the industry that are having a little bit harder time getting on, and we will start promptly at 3:02 Eastern time. Okay. Well, for those that have been able to get here on time, much appreciated. It is now 3:02 Eastern time, so it means we're going to get started. Again, thank you and welcome to Terra Third Thursdays here in July. We'd like to especially thank and welcome all of our Terra members that are listening in at the moment. They are given monthly free access to this webinar that is always held on the third Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern every month. This month, we're also inviting some guests because of our very special guest and host this month, the Vested Group, who is Terra's exclusive allied partner, one of only 2 exclusive allied partners in our network. So we're very proud to have them be a part of our organization and provide with all the help and support that they do. The title of today's presentation, as you can see on your screen, is Consolidate Your Chaos, talking about ERP systems. It is presented by Terra's, again, exclusive allied partner, the Vested Group, and is going to be hosted today by Joel Patterson. We have scheduled 45 minutes. That also is going to include a brief Q&A at the end. So you'll notice on your kind of your navigation window for GoToWebinar, there's an area in there where you can ask questions or you can chat. I'll be moderating that during the course of Joel's presentation. So if you have any questions, if time allows, I'll answer some on behalf of, ask some on behalf of the group to Joel at the end of his presentation. Before we get started, just want to say, another quick word about the Vested Group, about what they are and who they are. The Vested Group is a full-service consulting firm specializing in NetSuite's cloud-based business management software. The Vested Group is a certified 5-star NetSuite provider that focuses on providing cloud-based ERP enterprise resource planning solutions, CRM solutions, reverse logistics, and e-commerce solutions for businesses around the globe. Want to definitely recognize them also for their work in cinematography with the latest release of Silicon Mountain, which is a documentary that explores e-waste and is something that all of us in this industry can point to as something that really is helping put the problem of e-waste on the map. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Joel Patterson. Joel Patterson is the founder of the Vested Group, which is based in the Dallas, Texas area. He holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from Baylor and has worked in the consulting field for over 20 years. Joel and his exceptional team at the Vested Group strive to exceed client expectations and deliver solid solutions and support to the companies that they serve so that they may thrive. So with that introduction, Joel, please take it away.
Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. It's always that's kind of a mouthful. I need to update my intro description. Good afternoon, everyone. Like you said, my name is Joel Patterson. Today, my job is to talk to you a little about ERP and NetSuite specifically, and what that means or could mean to your organization. But first, let me give you just a little bit of background. Well, let me go ahead and jump into the presentation and talk about an agenda, and then I'll give you some background. I'm going to talk a little bit about who we are as an organization, because that's important to what I'm going to be presenting today. And then I'm going to talk about NetSuite. And NetSuite is a much larger organization than you may realize, because it's actually part of Oracle. So Oracle is, I don't even know what it is these days, 40 billion or whatever it is. And NetSuite's a very important piece of that, and I'll discuss why that matters. We're going to talk a little bit about the product that we developed called Revested. And Revested is built on the NetSuite platform. That's why NetSuite and Revested are so intertwined. And then we'll talk a little bit about what was just mentioned as far as Silicon Mountain, some of the other things that we're doing in the industry, and how we've embraced it and really trying to, just trying to help out. I mean, I think it's crazy in this industry what we've learned over the years, and how much of it is just awareness and getting it out to people to understand the importance of it. And obviously that helps everybody here as far as their business is concerned as well. Okay, so the Vested Group, we are based in Dallas, or actually we're in Plano, which is a suburb of Dallas. Founded in 2011, 70 employees plus an offshore component. And I won't bore you with all the details around this. I'll go ahead and build this slide. So what I really want to get across here is this isn't the first time we've done this. I've been in the ERP space for since 1997 is when I started doing these kind of implementations. This is my second ERP type company to run, and when we started the Vested Group in 2011, the goal from day one was to do nothing but NetSuite implementations and support. And so NetSuite as a whole is really a remarkable product. And I'll go into that in just a little bit more, or in a little more detail here in just a minute. But as you can see, we offer very few things. We offer a few different service offerings as far as how we structure projects and how we help our clients really do the business analysis to determine where they are on that kind of ERP timeline. But we want to give them a clear result from those engagements to make sure they either have requirements for a new implementation, or they're starting an implementation, or our support team is helping them with issues. So we want to keep the people that we work with in the family for a long time. All right, so then what about NetSuite? Like pretty much every project, somebody calls them Netflix. The older folks like me call them Netscape, but it doesn't really matter. It's still NetSuite. And NetSuite really was the first cloud company for ERP. So this goes back a long ways. In 1998, that NetSuite was actually founded, and it was originally founded by a guy named Evan Goldberg, and his business partner at the time that was going to fund this was Larry Ellison, who is also the founder of Oracle, and that's where that relationship began. NetSuite ran as its own independent organization that was public up until about 6 years ago, when Oracle acquired them and brought them into the fold. And really what that's done is it's scaled up the amount of access, particularly on the infrastructure side, of how NetSuite can run itself as a completely cloud company using all Oracle data centers around the globe in an efficient manner, with no performance issues and no latency, all that kind of stuff. So it's really been a boon for them. As you can see, there's over 20,000 customers worldwide. We are global. We can do business in any country for the most part, including localizations, different languages, currencies. Obviously, all that's included as well. And then we've had some record growth over the last few years. As you can see, 4,800 new logos in the last 12 months. And then this is kind of a NetSuite NASCAR slide, just to give you an idea of the types of companies that are working with NetSuite. It's pretty sizable. I mean, and they go from, like, I've got a client that's down the street that's almost 2 billion, and then we have lots of customers that are pre-revenue. So the beauty of NetSuite is it allows you to scale. All right, and that is specifically why we chose to work with NetSuite with our product. So this is the last kind of generic NetSuite slide you'll see. And really what this is saying is this has all of the capabilities to run your entire organization. And this is a key differentiator for us, in that when I go through some of the capabilities within the Revested product that we've built on the NetSuite platform, you'll see that it is capable of really doing everything else as well. So inventory control, all of your financials, fixed assets, all of your BI reporting, it's all on the same system. So you don't have to worry about integrations to QuickBooks or other environments. And what really allows this to work is this thing, the second column right here, this point and click customization. The great thing about the product that we've built on top of NetSuite is that you would never know that it's not NetSuite. NetSuite provides all of these tools to their users to say, all right, I want to create a custom form or a custom process or a workflow. It's all included in the application and allows you to do the things that we've done. But as you can see, when you go up to scale here, you've got full full ERP capability, financials, CRM, and then it also supports a lot of different industries, including with the ITAD and reverse logistics industry that we have taken to the NetSuite environment. And really, NetSuite, you can even license our product through NetSuite if you wanted to. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into Revested. So just as a reminder, I know I'm throwing a lot of data here at you, but so I'm Joel. I founded the Vested Group. The Vested Group does NetSuite, and we built a product called Revested on the NetSuite platform. So the way that we got started in this industry was back in 2013. We won a client, and we went into the warehouse and started working with them. And as you are all well aware, the ITAD and mobility industries are pretty unique, especially when you get into the hardcore repairs and walking into a warehouse and trying to understand where things are going to go, everything having a path and purpose. I mean, all those things were somewhat new to us. We'd worked in reverse logistics before, but the specifics that ITAD requires is much different. And so on that project, we really learned all, we learned all about R2, and we learned about, all the, how you can actually classify an iPhone about 18 billion different ways. And all of those things kind of, it taught us the requirements in order to build this IP ultimately, and be able to package it in a way where we can take it to processors and they can kind of configure it to the way that they want. There's no set requirement that you have to run the product this way. We give you a suggestion, we give you some options, but what we've really found in this industry is everybody's a little bit unique. There might be some heavier work done on the triage process up front versus doing something on the wiping towards the end. I mean, it's kind of all over the place. So we've been sure to maintain that kind of flexibility as we put this product together. So what I want to do now is just talk to you a little bit about what the product is in a kind of high level. Obviously, there's no way I can do a full demo in 35 minutes. It's just not possible. Clearly, if anybody on this is interested in seeing the product in full, you can reach out and be happy to walk you through everything. But today I'm going to show you some of the key concepts. So I'll show you 4 or 5 of those. But if you step back far enough, this is really all we're doing. We're bringing stuff into NetSuite, we're processing that stuff, and then we're doing something with it and reporting on it. It's really as simple as that. Obviously, there's a lot more detail behind it, but this is how we support it. First of all, the solution is NetSuite, as I said, and it's platform, right? So within NetSuite, this is all just standard function. You have all the accounting, general ledger, AR, AP, assets, all of your procurement and sourcing. CRM is fully integrated and part of the suite, comes with it. You've got inventory control. You've got different ways of selling products. You've got e-commerce capabilities. There's a lot more that goes into what NetSuite can do. But at a high level, when we go in and we do an implementation of Revested, this is sort of the footprint that we're looking at. And then when you go over to the Revested side, I listed just a few of the things that we have built into our product that services your needs. So being able to, from immediately receiving it into a warehouse, having visibility and access to the device that you just scanned in, all the way through the supply chain. As changes are made to that device, being able to see those reflected immediately. As you are looking at maybe a mass balance report and you're wondering how you're weighing out against their expectations, you can get on your dashboard and see that stuff immediately, and it's all live. So that's, it all starts with being able to control the device or the asset or whatever you want to call it, and understand that based on that category, it's going to drive what attributes I have to capture. I've got to have data validation around those attributes. I've got to be able to trigger alerts whenever they're outside of certain requirements. So all of those things are built into the process of receiving and controlling inventory. We also have something we call client agreements. And this is really how you exchange information with, or sorry, not information, assets and the attributes tied to them and how you get paid for them with your clients. So we call the people that we get inventory from, we call them clients, and we call the ones we sell it to customers. But really, a client is kind of a vendor relationship. NetSuite, though, allows you to have the same entity as a client and as a vendor or as a customer, which allows all your settlement reporting, having visibility to an overall balance, not just on the AR or AP side. You've got that integration. And I know what a hassle that can be for a lot of organizations that are setting it up on both sides of the house and then having to manually settle those values. We have expected receipts, multiple levels of how you want to palletize or containerize your items, triage for that first inbound receipt when you're getting something off of a trailer that you may not know what it is and may not be in your system. We know that the important part of this, as soon as that door opens on that trailer, we have got to help you get as fast and efficient through your operational process as possible in order to make money. And so what we do is allow you to select how detailed the information you need to capture, how much lookup time you want to spend, lots of ways to really personalize the system for your specific needs. And triage is that first step. Bring it in, take a look at it, give it a quick status code, assign an item or a type of item to it, and then send it on its way into what we call a license plate number, an LPN. LPN is essentially a moving pallet, a roving pallet that can move around your warehouse, but you can store a lot of inventory on it, and you can, in our system, even sell it. So when you load up an LPN and you want to sell that LPN, you can sell it as a single transaction. We have parting. So when you do receive items, like if you got a printer that you want to break down for the fuser or anything like that you want to be able to part components out of, scrap the rest, but retain inventory quantity and value in your system, we can do that. And we also have full commissions to support your salespeople who might be selling inbound and outbound transactions and getting paid on both sides. All right. So let me jump into a couple of specifics that I just mentioned, but a little bit more detail around them. Agreements. Agreements are really the ability to agree on a price, on a level of service. I'm just going to go, I wasn't going to do this, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the system and show you what that looks like. It's a little easier to talk about. So I am now, I assume this updated. Yeah, I'm about to log into NetSuite. So if you've never seen NetSuite, ta-da. And NetSuite, you're going to see, is always built upon this concept of dashboards. Everything in NetSuite has a dashboard. Your clients have a dashboard, and vendors have a dashboard, and all of your dashboards have live data. All the data, if you have permissions, are clickable. It's clickable, so I can drill into this baked ballots if I want to. This cost of sales number. So there's lots of information and ways to use the system just via the dashboards, and it's very user intuitive. So you can just drag things around, or I can minimize them. It's just kind of easy to use. So anyway, let me show you what an agreement looks like. I'm going to go to here. Here's my agreement number 4. And so an agreement has the typical header level data that you would expect, meaning what's the effectivity timing around this contract with my client, what is the specific type of contract, is it consignment, could it be purchased, what is my labor rate? If I have a pre-negotiated labor rate for any time I do service on this client's specific items, how much do I theoretically charge, and I'll get into what that means here in just a minute. So all of that stuff is stored here at the top. And then down here at the bottom, what we're accumulating is something we call billable events. And I've found that there are definitely ITADs out there that use billable events, but there are a lot that don't. And really what that is for consignment items that come in, if you want to agree with the client that you got that inventory from, that every time you receive it, or essentially go through a triage step, as in this second line item here, that's saying that whenever I receive a mobile device into triage, I charge a per piece cost of $2.25. And that's not a real cost, it's an internal cost. And what happens is, as this item that you got from a client moves through the operations, it accumulates these costs. So if I do service to it, if I wipe its memory or its hard drive, if I am adding components to it, all of those activities result in a cost, and then they are ultimately added to that device. So that way, when you sell the device, and you have a revenue split with your client, which is categorized right here on the revenue share tab, then that's the cost that's built into it. So if I've got $20 worth of costs and I paid $100 for it, or I sold it for $100, I'm going to have a profit of $80, and then I will look to my rev share split. And on here it says mobile devices. The client gets 65% of the 80, and I get the remaining 35%. So that's how the agreement essentially works. And then also on this asset transactions tab, I want to show you that everything that happens from here on out has a link back to the transaction or the entry point of what preceded it. So here I've got the agreement. I'll be able to see all my inbound or expected receipts. I can see all the triage activity on this account. I can see all the audit activity, different service tickets, and you can see all of this information is available for reporting that can come out onto your dashboard. It can be in the form of an email that gets sent to you every day. It can all be exported to Excel, to PDF. You can auto email when a transaction is created that would have put it on that report, essentially an alert. It would automatically email you. There's just lots of different functions that come natively with NetSuite that I'm not sure the ITAD space has been able to take advantage of. Just having it on a modern cloud-based platform. I mean, and having a fully integrated suite allows you to do so much more than what you could before. All right, so that's an agreement. Let's see, what else did I have on here? I've also got some just some high-level differentiators. You know, I thought I had that. Sorry. I'm gonna go to Customer Center. So Customer Center, think of it as a customer portal. And this comes with NetSuite. You don't even have to pay more for it. And what it is it allows me to go in for any of my customers and with essentially 2 clicks, assign them a customer role so that they can log in and they can pay a bill, run a statement, place an order. For our ITAD solution, they can take a look at all the status of all of the devices that are currently in your warehouse. So let me show you what this looks like. If I change my role, so here's one that I've got set up for Brocade Communications, and this is just a really simple example, right? This of what you can do. I would, like I said, have to check a box, assign a password to this person, and that's really all the setup that there is. They would be able to come in here, and in this case, they only have access to view transaction history or view POs and orders, but you can expose additional functions to them, like create a PO or fulfill a PO. I can also expose reports to them. So I've got, as an example, I've got a report of asset status codes and where they are. So now you can see I can log in, I can look at the shipment or the agreement that I have in place with you, and I can view, download, interact with all the data that's in your system as long as you allow them to. So the level of activity and integration that you have with your customers and with your clients can increase significantly by simply using this tool. And this tool, like I said, is included as part of the base financials licensing package. All right. The next one was Asset Analyzer. So we've got, here's a pretty classic area of where we found that our ITAD customers really just are very different in what they want to see and how they sell their products. Some want to reserve inventory immediately. Others don't want to reserve inventory at all. There's just a lot of different preferences that go into that. And so we've built a couple of different options. We've got this one here is an asset analyzer. I've been around a lot of organizations that, you know, it's all built on a spreadsheet that they send out to the different brokers. This is one way you could generate that spreadsheet, or you could actually place an order from here. So you can actually, from the same function, if you see something you want to grab and you want to sell, or you want to sell to somebody, you can do it directly from here, or you can export it, as you can see in summary, detail, really up to you how much information you want to put on there and get that data out to your brokers, and it's always live. You could even give your brokers access, like that vendor portal that I showed you. You could set them up as a vendor and give them access to your inventory if you want to. I understand there's a lot to that, but it's an option. Vendor Center, PO reconciliation. So we've talked a lot so far around the consignment side of the transaction, meaning we do not own the product and have an agreement in place with somebody that we're going to split the revenue or profit with at the end. But you may also be in an environment where you buy everything, and we can support that too. So everything comes in on a purchase order as it's brought in and received via triage, it is matched against that purchase order. If it's not on that purchase order, so say you bought a container and that's the only thing listed on there, it will build the purchase order for you as you receive those items. So that way at the end, when you know you've spent X amount of money based on the grades that were given to the phones that you just bought and they weren't up to snuff, then you can go into each individual asset as needed and update it with the new cost. And that will, all of those updates and updated values will be stored and kept, so you have visibility back to who actually originated that change, but you have flexibility around how you want to interact with the people that you actually buy inventory from. We can also do like some skip lot trace, I'm not saying that right, but basically doing some quality checks every 10th item or something like that to validate that the spreadsheet that you're getting in and receiving as receipts is actually at the grade that you expect it to be. We can support that too. Settlement reporting, I think everybody understands that. You've got the complexities around having an AR and an AP relationship with the same entity and being able to bring those together, manage that as a single entity, understand what your overall exposure is with that entity, and as well as make sure you always have, I assume a lot of these are going to be your more important customers too, and make sure you've got visibility to anything that might need you to have a conversation. So that's kind of the main thing I was going to talk about on that. I'm moving a little quicker than I expected to, so I'm actually going to go back into the system here. And I think I can see chat. So if anybody does have a chat and wants me to touch on something while I'm in the system, I'm happy to at least attempt to do so. But the other thing I was going to show you was, I talked about dashboards. Let me show you what an asset record looks like. So really, when you're done with this thing, I mean, what you have is an asset record or a device record, call it whatever you like, that is filled out, has all of the traceability tied to it. It has all your financial information. Everything is kind of pulled together in one location, and then you're allowed to do whatever you want with it, right? So we have a fully integrated BI and reporting tool, so you can build reports on these things as they're happening. You don't have to wait for anything else. It's there and ready for you to use. So here's an asset. I'll go through a couple things here. Along the top, you've got, and by the way, I don't know that this matters to you guys, but in the NetSuite world, when we create an asset, it is serialized. So this serial number, this 20115, that is actually the serial number tied to the system. And the reason I tell you that is these types of systems are very particular about how you transact with items that are serialized. You cannot move that inventory item. You can't do anything to that item without the serial number. And that's a great thing, because your data integrity issues I'm not gonna say they go out the window, but they will be significantly reduced. The issue that companies have that don't have that level of discipline now is the amount of work that goes into it. And then you got to make sure that people can't go around the system, because they'll try. But after a while, once that rigor is in place, it's so nice, the fact that you know that that inventory cannot be handled in the system or moved in the system without somebody putting a serial number in. Really removes a lot of issues. When I bring it in, I might assign, what I'll usually do is assign a manufacturer and a model. Tied to that combination is an item in the NetSuite environment, in your environment. So now I can track quantities, I can track valuation, I can look at sales history and commissions, all tied to this iPad Pro of 9.7 inches and 128 gig. So you build up that, over time, you're going to build up that history, which just makes your reporting all that much more powerful. As I scroll down, you'll see things like where it is, the location. That could be a physical location or a virtual location. Here's the LPN it's sitting on. We have row rack bin functionality within NetSuite. We can send different labels, different certifications to different printers based on what the user actually needs. I see things like, here's the client information. We received this against the agreement we were looking at earlier. Here's the inbound transaction, which is the expected receipt. I've got my client data. And then this item has been actually repaired. So as you can see, I've got a material cost tied to that of $10, as well as 2 1/3 hours of repair time. And based on that agreement, we had a labor rate, I think it was $45, which sounds about right. 2.3 times 45 would be $103. So if I were able to sell this iPad for $200, I know right now, as far as my client is concerned, my profit is at 96.50. Hopefully that's right. So it will continue to build that information up. When I sell it, that sales order, the line, the price, if we paid commission on it, the ship date. Can also see information around cost of sales. Down here at the bottom, you're always going to get history information, and then at the very bottom, you see, I got visibility to my audit. I got billable events, different related records that are all tied to this asset. I can create notes, any files that I want to store. Like for as far as pictures, as far as files that could be user manuals, all that can be stored, no problem there. And then we also have custom workflows that can really drive a lot of the process. All right, so I'm going to show you one more thing, and then I'll be pretty close to wrapping up. I am actually going to show you some of the mobile capabilities within NetSuite. So what I'm doing is I'm on my iPad, and I'm going to mirror my screen here. You should be able to see in just a moment. All right, so this is my iPad, and if you see down here on the far left column, you see a NetSuite logo down here. That's what I'm opening up. I open it up. It's going to Face ID me, and it's going to bring me in. Now, this is the NetSuite standard mobile app, 100% included in the base application, and you can really do anything that you can do in the main application in the mobile app. I use this on my phone all the time. Now, I'm on my iPad now just to be able to show you for a demo, but you can do really, and I don't create transactions on my phone, right? That's not very efficient. But as far as looking up data, as far as if I'm looking up financial data, or if I'm looking up contact information, I use my NetSuite app to be able to get into that. And as you can see here, I have things like reminders, approvals, my KPIs. This would be the same view. I have the same information if I logged in via the browser on my desktop. So the NetSuite, the remote app or the mobile app actually will pull all the same information as the main one. It's also, as soon as you save it here, it's live elsewhere. It's not on a separate database like sometimes you'll see with some of the mobile apps. And I can get anywhere. I mean, I can run triage records. I can look up customers. As long as I have permissions to do so. You see, I have a listing of all the different transactions that I can see with my login. So there's really no limit to how we want to use it. It really comes down to, what's the most efficient, safest, least risky way to leverage this, whether it's on the floor or out on a service call with somebody. I could absolutely. We have clients that are truck brokers that basically are responsible for moving one thing from one place to another, and they use the mobile app to be able to log in that they got that load done. They take a picture of where they left it. They take a picture of the BOL, and it's off and running. So lots of opportunity around how we leverage the NetSuite mobile app moving forward as well. And let me just go back to my presentation. And then the final couple things I'll talk about is first, if you have not had an opportunity or have never heard of Silicon Mountain, we would love you to go to siliconmountainmovie.com. And it's a 25-minute documentary that we invested in, just released it last September. Like I said before, we've been in the industry since 2013, and really not only enjoy it from a work perspective, lots of really interesting challenges, lots of young organizations that are just growing like crazy. So there's a lot of fun in it for us, but also it's great to be able to embrace a social cause and actually be able to use it for work too. So that's what we've done. It started as we want to do the right thing and bring awareness to the e-waste issue, as well as for right to repair. But we also want to make a good business decision, right? So we created a 25-minute documentary. I promise you, even though you're in the industry, if you watch it, you're going to learn something. I think we did a really nice job of that. You'll probably see some people that you know. Like Kyle Wiggins is highlighted throughout, and he's obviously all over the media these days. So please take a minute. All you got to do is go to that link that Stephen just posted and check it out. There's no cost or anything to it. The Big Commitment is a book that we wrote around going through an ERP implementation. And if you reach out to us or shoot me an email, I will send you a hardcover copy of it. And it's a business fiction. And a lot of people, when they think about going through a project like this, it's just scary, and it should be. because you are impacting everything in your business. That's a real opportunity to change your business and turn it upside down for the better. But it's also scary because there's just so much going on, and it's not always fun for your employees, but it is absolutely a possible to be successful. And that's really what that book is about, is just kind of going through some of the real core tenets of a successful implementation. And then also talking about some of the other things that we do. We partner with Hobby, which I'm sure a lot of you know, for our collection days. We've had 2 of them so far. We had one over Earth Day and then one last November. And each time we've collected over 8 tons, and we increased over the first time in our last collection day. So far so good, and really enjoying that challenge as well. And then some final thoughts. When you're thinking about the chaos that maybe is your financial system, or maybe how you're running inventory or your operations, it's not uncommon. And the beauty is that's the business that we're in, is to help you through that. And we believe fully with the NetSuite product and the Revested product built on the NetSuite platform, that you will create the system. This is not a system that you will have to replace ever, potentially, unless there's some kind of crazy new architectural change. That's usually what drives new ERPs to be rolled out. And there's nothing coming right now. I mean, quantum computing, but that's not going to change anything in our world for a long time. So this is something that you make the investment, you make it now, you do it right, and this is truly a 20-year decision. And we can simplify that chaos for you. What makes it different? Really, it's the visibility across the financials and the operations, to always know where everything is, know what it cost you, know what you're going to sell it for, know what profit you made on that line item, interact with maybe Amazon or eBay or other online services. And then I also want to just make sure that we talk about the industry as a whole and the investments that we're making. We're going to be at eWaste and a couple of other conferences coming up, and really look forward to seeing everybody there. And Stephen, I think 237, you said 235 to 240, so I think that's pretty good.
I think you did fantastic. Very much appreciated. Wow. Well, we got a couple of questions here, and there one is more general and specific, and one is more broad. So I'll ask the general or the specific one first. And the question came up: can this system handle HR and payroll issues also?
It does, yes. You can, with the basic system, it comes with HR, so all your employee management, self-service HR. That does not include payroll or benefits. But there is what we call Suite People add-on that does them both. One other thing I'll mention about that is NetSuite also offers the ability to do payroll outsourced, and it's Ceridian that's actually doing the processing, but you manage it within the NetSuite environment. So if you're already using Ceridian or something, it makes it that much simpler to make a transition.
And this is coming from the person that asked the question, and he says, I'm clapping.
Oh, very good to hear. Take it.
So, obviously, one of the things we had last month was our presenter Blanco talked about automation and the power of automation, and the problem people are having right now with manpower. I mean, this is an extremely comprehensive program. I mean, for people who are trying to to bite that elephant, eat that elephant in more than smaller bites. Talk a little bit more about how you kind of onboard people and get them kind of comfortable with all the different things that you guys can do.
Yeah, that's a great question, because that is a problem. People get excited, they spend a lot of money, and they want a lot for it, and that's perfectly understandable. The problem is that it's not going to be overnight. If I had my druthers and I said, okay, this is exactly how you should implement it. For most companies, I would say, if you're running QuickBooks, let's just replace QuickBooks. We're not going to do anything else, because you need to clean up your data. You might want to redesign your chart of accounts. There's a ton of work that goes into just doing that, and it's not as sexy as what you expect from implementing a new ERP, but it's the right way to do it and to roll it out, and then you can from there build on top of it. Inventory control, all the revested capabilities. You mentioned Blanco. Blanco, we integrate with that, no problem, or any other tool that you might want to use. It doesn't even have to be a wiping tool. There are a ton of other integrations that are native to NetSuite, or that we've actually created in a point-to-point transaction or using connectors. So we can support your growth. What I caution people though is really you are eating an elephant, but you definitely got to do it a bite at a time, and you've got to do it methodically. Don't just think because you're going to get the most bang for your buck by looking at asset information. You need to do that blocking and tackling, get that in place. And like I said, this can be a 20-year decision.
Well, I'm trying to get some clarification on another question that came in. It was asked, can the system handle global systems?
Yeah, it's completely global. NetSuite provides most of the localizations, but there are partners in like South America. We work with other partners down there that understand all the localizations because there's a lot of crazy inventory rules in South America. So, but NetSuite can support it with language, with multi-currency. You can do separate charts of accounts. The short answer is yes, 100% global.
Okay. So we got a very specific question here. Came in offline, not through the system, but
that's weird. That's probably somebody playing a joke.
Well, some people feel more comfortable, I think, texting me directly than necessarily putting something on the webinar.
Well, that's good customer service then.
Yeah, so maybe they want to be a little more anonymous. What's the ballpark figure for like a 20-person organization? Can you even do that?
What was the number? 20 person?
20-person organization with 2 locations.
Yeah. Look, everybody asks that question, and the answer is always depends. But it really, if I was just going to complete ballpark, I would tell you that we could get you into a system that is the core financials, getting rid of QuickBooks, getting you in a place where you can start doing all of the revested types of process or functions. And maybe even implementing some of them, but you're going to spend $100,000, and that will include your software, the implementation. Now going forward, you'll just pay for the licenses and then any support that you might need. Because what happens is as companies grow, we have this whole support group, but really they don't do break fix stuff. It's almost all because we got clients that are got new employees that need trained, or they just acquired somebody and we need to help them roll it out, or they need to they're starting a new service line and they might need some changes to their configuration. That's the type of work that we do. And so really, whether you spend 50,000 now or 100,000 now, it's really getting that foundation in and getting you to where you will have the ability to scale from maybe you're 5 million now, no problem scaling to 100 million. I've got clients that have done that. So it's and beyond that, that's really the important piece. And if I was just going to throw a number out there that meant nothing, I'd say $100,000.
Okay. And then on the backside of that is, because you're doing financials and integrations with payroll and contracts and everything else that it does, do you have any kind of analytics on what kind of manpower this saves, or what you could expect in the efficiencies on the back end once it's fully implemented?
Yeah, it well, absolutely. Not only just on the financials back end side, where you might have somebody that's manually entering data. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to manually enter invoices into QuickBooks 2 or 3 times, right? So those kind of things are easy to find, really. But it comes down to how automated your process is out on the floor and how much data you have to support us. Because what we can do, if you have a decision tree, if you've at some point decided, all right, well, when this thing comes in and it's grade A, it's this type of item, it goes over here, man, we can make your life so much better. But it takes time to get that stuff. Now we can support that, automate it, tell you exactly who do you need to give it to next. The problem with those kind of questions is nobody believes ROI unless you gave them the number to plug into that calculation. So I'm not trying to skirt it. I know for a fact that there's a lot of efficiencies to be gained, but a lot of them come down to how much discipline that you've got. But if you're looking for ROI, look at the downside. It seems like every single time that I go into these organizations that are running an old legacy system, they're running Access databases or Fox Pro or something like that. And how many times were they crashing in a day? I mean, I'm not even exaggerating when I would say 3 or 4. It's that kind of thing that when you start worrying about the initial cost of it, think about not having any of that, because the upside, once you're ready to scale, it's all there, and it is well documented. And NetSuite has, I mean, you'd want that information from NetSuite, and we can absolutely help you get that, because that is, yeah, there's no problem there.
Okay, other questions? Yeah, more questions piling in here. Is NetSuite compatible with any QEHS compliance platforms?
Yes, we are compliant. I couldn't tell you the name of it right now, but I know in our partner network, we have a couple of those. And I would also tell you that it doesn't even matter if they're not, because as long as the system that we're talking about is openly architected, as long as we can communicate to it, we can receive, we can process, we've never had a problem not being able to communicate with somebody. So if you have a system that you already like controlling that, then we could even integrate it with it. Now that may make sense, it may not, but if you go to suiteapp.com, suiteapp.com, that is our app store, like on iPhones. And there's 150 different products out there that have different bolt-ons that are already integrated that you would want to take a look at.
All right. Well, excellent. We are at the 45-minute mark. So Joel, thank you very much. A very informative session.
Thank you.
There is a wrinkle to this month. We're actually giving away a $100 gift card. So some lucky winner amongst our attendees today will be communicated
So
from
when
me
people
about,
listen to me
about
speak,
receiving
they
that.
make money, right? That's
And,
how I interpret that. Well,
absolutely.
congratulations.
So again, the third Thursday next month. Should know that off the top of my head because that's not that far off. But everyone will be receiving something about that next week. That is going to be the 19th of August is when our next session will be. Again, we're doing a drawing this evening, or this after this event. Within the next hour or so, probably earlier, everyone will receive an email with a link to the video of this, so they can pass it along to other members of their team that haven't been able to see it, or they think is going to be interested to watch it. And those that missed it will be able to get a copy of it as well. So again, Joel, thank you very much. We're looking forward to everybody being here again with us next month. But excellent program for the month of July. We appreciate it, Joel.
Thank you, Steven. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, everybody take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That was good.